Hey tax students, this video will demonstrate how to do the simulated tax returns in our Cengage site. So I'm going to demonstrate here this chapter 1, the second homework, this homework B. So here you can see there's three different problems, three different tax returns. Let me demonstrate this second one here. So what we're given is instructions, and here's a W-2 form. Here's the 1040 form we need to fill in, and also a link to the tax tables where we look up the taxable income to get the tax liability for the whole year. You can open up all these three or four windows, and you can click on the one that you want to move to the front. Or you can use these buttons here to arrange the windows, yeah? So here all the windows are in one long column. Or you can show three at a time. Here, three at a time. And you can also, I guess, maximize this window area, yeah? And this one is to bring it back into this cascading mode, yeah? So I kind of like this cascading mode and just bring up the one to the front that you want to work with. So let's look at the instructions. We have Hardy and Dora. They're married filing joint. We're given their social security numbers, their birth dates, and their address, all of which will be entered into the tax forms automatically for us. But in a real return, or maybe the next assignment doing this problem, we're going to have to manually enter all this information for us for the return. We are told that Hardy doesn't work, but Dora works with a W-2 form for her teaching job. And we're given that they have a son, Fort, his social security number, who is a dependent living with them. This is kind of misleading. They're telling you already he's a dependent, but dependents either have to be qualifying children or another qualifying relative. You need to meet the tests, yeah? And here, really what they mean is that they support him. Fort lives with them, not necessarily that they're a dependent. We got to determine whether Fort is a dependent and report it so on the tax return. Fort is not a full-time student, and he has income of $5,200. We're given his birth date of 2001, so that makes him at least 20 years old. Yeah. Hardy and Dora received $2,800 of the economic impact payments for 2021. That's $1,400 each for Hardy and Dora. Now, if Fort was a dependent of the couple, they would have received another $1,400, which they didn't. And if Fort was really a dependent for 2021, Hardy and Dora would be able to claim $1,400, not as an economic impact payment for Fort, but they would be claiming the recovery rebate credit on this tax return. But again, Fort is not, well, we'll see Fort is not a dependent. Some other information we're given is that the taxpayers had health coverage for the full year. This is an irrelevant question to ask for 2021. It really applies to 2018 and past years. Yeah, so for whatever reason, they didn't remove this from this sentence from this problem. Neither taxpayer wishes to contribute to the presidential election campaign. Okay, we're supposed to enter all amounts as positive numbers. And if an amount has a box to fill in and there's nothing to be put there, we have to put in 0. Okay, so don't just leave it blank. And if we need to round up to the nearest dollar. That's 50 cents and above, round up to the nearest dollar, or you just drop the cents. Okay, so let's take a look at the 1040 form. And you can see the names, social security numbers, addresses are already filled in for us. But at the very top, here is where we enter the filing status. Married couples could either file jointly or separately, but here we already have the two names on the form, so we know it's a joint return. And to move to the next field that we need to fill in, the best thing to do is to use the tab key. And here I'm in this field here, yeah, tab, or shift tab to move to the previous field. Okay, so at the end of this problem, I'll go using tab and shift tab just to make sure I didn't skip any field. We're told that they don't want to contribute to the presidential election campaign. So you don't leave it blank like this. In a real form, you would leave it blank. But here we have to choose one of these answers in the drop-down list. And for whatever reason, I would pick no, yeah, but I think the correct response should be none, at least for this problem. In other problems, you may need to pick no if they're not going to be contributing. And again, in a real return, you would just leave that box blank. We don't have any other income, so there is no income from cryptocurrency here. There's virtual currency, so we say no over here. And can Hardy and Dora be claimed by anyone as a dependent? And we should not check off the box on the real return, but here we got to say none. And they're younger than this birth date of January 1957, yeah? So we say none for both of them. In other words, they're under age 65. And here you can see Fort's information is already entered. And he is not a qualifying child, so there would be no child tax credit. And he's not a qualifying relative because he made too much income, yeah? A qualifying child would be under 17 and under, yeah? Yeah, 17 and under for that child tax credit. And that's for the year 2021. Okay, and let's see. Then the first dollar amount is the wages coming from the W-2. So here's Dora's W-2, 51,323. Okay, drop the cents here. We don't put in that 14 cents. 51,323. 51,323. And I know I'm going to be entering this amount in other fields, yeah? So I'm going to copy it and then move to the next field. So here's a subtotal of all their income. And here is the adjusted gross income, which is the same as the total up here, yeah? Now the next number is the standard deduction. And we learned that there's different amounts to put here based upon the taxpayer's filing status. In this case, married, filing joint. So 25,100. And I'm going to copy and paste it in this subtotal here. And again, one more time in line 14. Now in line 15, I need to calculate the taxable income, which is the adjusted gross income minus this standard deduction amount. And I cannot do it in my head. So here's my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to copy that answer and paste it into line 15. In line 16, we need to look up that taxable income and enter the related tax. So we're given this tax table link here. I have it already open to get my tax table. So that's, I'm looking up $26,223. So you can see there's groups into thousands of dollars here. So I'm looking for 26,000 right here. Then I go down this two columns looking for 223, falls within right in this row here, yeah? So I go across this row and I stop under the column for their filing status, which is the heading here at the top. here, married, filing joint. 26 to 23. If you get a taxable income that falls right between the two rows, you notice here like 26,200 and 26,200 here in the left-hand column, you always use the second one, yeah? Okay, so in my case, I go right here. That's 2,749. 2749. I'm going to copy that and paste it here in this subtotal, and then another subtotal, and then one more subtotal. Here in line 25A, I need to enter the taxes that are already paid from her W-2 form. Here in box 2, 3,000 and I round up, yeah, 50 cents and over, you round up to the next dollar. $3,086. I'll copy and paste that in the subtotal and one more subtotal. Then I figure out how much she had overpaid or have still due. That's 3,086 minus 2,749. Well, she's overpaid by $337. Paste it here, and then we want it all refunded. So in this last box here. Okay, so let me check if I filled in all the boxes. So I tab, and looks like I'm on this link here, yeah? So I'll go Shift Tab to move backwards, Shift Tab, just to make sure I've entered every field that needs to be filled in or checked off or answered no or yes or none. Okay, that's it. Now let me try using one of my check my work buttons for just this one return. And looks like I got the whole thing correct because remember there's three problems, and each should be worth 1/3 of all of the points, yeah? Let's see if I can get a wrong answer here. Let's try this one here and I'll say no and check my work again. And you can see the percentage has changed. And if I look at that thing I had changed, you can see a red X, yeah? For whatever reason, they want you to answer at least for this tax return none, yeah? For the presidential election campaign. And then move on to the next problem, okay? And when you're done, you can go ahead and submit the whole homework assignment. In addition to using this check my work button 3 times for each of the 3 problems, you can submit the whole homework assignment 3 times. And when you continue with the second and third attempts, you'll pick up where you left off. So there should be no reason why you cannot get 100%, yeah, 100 points for your homework assignments. Okay, let me stop here. If you have any questions, send me an email. Talk to you later.